Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video, this time focusing on all the pets and mounts that you can get in Phase 1 of Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Now obviously new mounts and pets come up in later phases, but there are only a couple and will get their own proper mention in the associated video in the future, like the Rusted Proto-Drake being mentioned as part of the Ulduar Achievement Guide for instance. So if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe below. For today, however, I'll let you know where everything is, how much it costs, the drop rate, and there is an important note when it comes to the Wulvar versus Oracle reputation in Sholazar. But without further ado, let's begin with the companion pets, and the best place to start is with Brianni, who is a gnome in the Magical Menagerie in Dalaran, just outside of the flight path. We'll sell you the Calico Cat, Albino Snake, and Obsidian Hatchling, all for 50 gold apiece before reputation discounts, which goes up to 20% at Exalted with the Kirin Tor. Next is the Clockwork Assistant at the Wonderworks, which is just across from the Violet Citadel. He sells the Blue Clockwork Rocket Bot for 50 gold before rep discounts. Then lastly in Dalaran there is Dahara, which is in the underbelly in the Black Market. He sells the Ghostly Skull on the last page of his vendor screen. Again, 50 gold Kirin Tor rep. Now to leave Dalaran, we go to the Kalawak rep vendor down in Dragonblight, who at Exalted will sell you a penguin for 12 gold, before rep discounts with, well, themselves, and those are the ones you can just purchase straight up. Next are the droppables, and there's only two of them really, and that is the Gundrak Hatchling from the Gundrak Raptors, and this is a 0.09% chance, so it's going to be expensive on the AH or a lot of time grinding. Then there is the Giant Sewer Rat from fishing in the underbelly of Dalaran, which is a 0.07% chance to fish up. And then you have the Strand Crawler from the Fishing Daily Bags, which is a 1% drop chance. Now this can drop from any of the Fishing Spoils bags. It's not like the TBC equivalent where you could only get a croc from the crocs in the city dailies. So that's at least a little bit nicer. And the last of the normal pets you can easily obtain are the Kirin Tor Familiar from the Higher Learning Achievement, which is to read a bunch of books in Dalaran, and I'll be a bit more detailed in a future guide. Now, the last 4 pets that I want to discuss, and one of the mounts, comes from the Oracles, and this is where the Oracle versus Wulvar reputation comes into part. As all the pets and mounts drop from the mysterious egg from the Oracle's rep vendor at Revered, and then they take a week to hatch. However, there are achievements associated with the Wulvar. For instance, the Honorary Frenzy Heart, where you have to complete all of their 8 dailies, the Frenzy Heart Tribe, where you have to get Exalted, and then there's the Mercenary of Sholazar achievement, where you have to get both the Wulvar and the Oracles to Exalted. Now, my recommendation is to go for the Wulvar first, get them to Exalted, and then switch to the Oracles. That way you'll have the Honorary Frenzy Heart, the Frenzy Heart Tribe, and you'll have set yourself up for the Mercenary of Sholazar. And then you don't have to worry about those achievements when you go for egg hunting. As, to get back to the point of the video, the 4 pets are the Cobra Hatchling, the Tickbird Hatchling, the White Tickbird Hatchling, which have a 20% chance each from the Mystery Egg. Then there's the Proto-Drake Whelp from that Mystery Egg, which is a 10% chance. And then there is the Green Proto-Drake, which is a mount and it has about a 5% drop chance. So on average, again, about 20 weeks to get everything. Now, again, just to reiterate, I would say spend the 2 or so weeks getting Exalted with the Frenzy Heart first, then switching to the Oracles and getting on the egg hunt. I'll also mention a lot of the pets are sellable, so this could actually be a source of revenue as well. So that's my personal recommendation. However, that is all the pets done, and it's time to move on to the mounts. And of course, we'll start the Green Proto-Drake, 5% Gein's Egg. Then we'll go back to what you can just straight up buy, and we go to May Francis in Dalaran, who's in front of the Magical Menagerie where Brianni was, which is right next to the flight path. She sells the Armoured Brown Bear for 750 gold before rep discounts, the Armoured Snowy Griffin for the Alliance, or the Armoured Blue Windrider for the Horde for 2k, again before discounts. The Woolly Mammoth for 200 Emblems of Heroism. You get 1 Emblem of Heroism per Heroic Boss, or 2 from the Daily Dungeon. There is no rep discount that applies to this, unfortunately. And then lastly, there is the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. 20,000 gold before discounts. Gets to about 16,000 after you get Exalted with the Kirin Tor, but still very expensive. And the reason it's expensive is that this is the repair mount. I'll also mention that this Mammoth and the Armoured Brown Bear do have an achievement dedicated just to them. Now to move on, we go to Winter's Grasp with the Grand Black War Mammoth. This costs 300 Stonekeeper shards, and chances are you'll get a lot of these, so it's going to be a lot less than you actually think to get this. Doing Winter's Grasp dailies gives 10 apiece, and killing heroic bosses while you have the Winter's Grasp buff gives about 3 or 4 apiece. So you get this 300 pretty quick smart. Next we go to Wyrmrest Temple with the Red Drake, costing 2,000 gold before rep. And then we head to the Frozen North for the Sons of Hodir, where you get the Ice Mammoth at Revered and the Grand Ice Mammoth at Exalted. The Ice Mammoth is 1,000 and the Grand Ice Mammoth is 10,000. I'll also note that both of these have their own achievement associated with them as well. And then the last thing that's technically purchasable, except instead of from a vendor, it's from a player, and that is of course the Mechanohog from Engineering. After this, we get to two very, very interesting ones that don't drop in the traditional way. The first is the White Polar Bear that you have a 1% chance of getting from Hildnir Spoils when you do the Into the Pit daily in the Storm Peaks from the Brunhildar village. And then we have the Sea Turtle from Fishing, and this is only a 0.03% from pools only. You can't just go off the coast of Dragonblight and fish away until you get there. It specifically has to be from pools, so good luck, but there is an achievement in the fishing section for getting this one as well, and it is one of the only underwater mounts in the game, even to today in retail, so it's pretty cool to get. However, let's move on to the ones we more traditionally think about when we're mount farming, and that's the one from raids and dungeons. And the first is the Azure Drake from Malygos 10 and 25 man, which has a 1.5% drop chance. There is the Black Drake from Obsidian Sanctum 10 man, and the Twilight Drake from Obsidian Sanctum 25 man. Both of those have a 100% drop chance if you start the fight with all three major drakes alive. Now this is thankfully going to be one of those things that eventually you'll get it, similar to how the Armani War Bear went. However, if you're one of the first to get it, it's pretty cool. Next is the Bronze Drake from the Time Trial in Culling of Stratholme. It's a 100% chance. You'd have to wipe maybe twice in that end section of Culling of Stratholme to not get that mystery boss, so this is a relatively easy one to eventually get your hands on. The next dungeon is the Oculus, where the Blue Drake has a 3% chance of dropping from the final chest. And then speaking of Blue Drakes, there is the Blue Proto Drake from Utgard Pinnacle that has a 1.5% chance to drop off the third boss. And then the last one that drops is the Time Lost Proto Drake, which drops off, well, itself. It's a 100% drop chance if you can find him, but it's a 2 to 8 hour respawn timer. He shares a timer with Vertigosa. This is the sort of thing that would take weeks or days, depending how lucky you are, of farming it. So if you're going to go for them, well, good luck. And then lastly, I want to talk about achievement rewards, as there is the Violet Proto Drake from What a Long Strange Trip It Is to get all of the event meta achievements. There's the Red Proto Drake from the Heroic Dungeon achievements. The Plagued Proto Drake from Phase 1 10-man raid achievements. The Black Proto Drake from Phase 1 25-man raid achievements. And I say Phase 1 because this does include the Eye of Eternity and Obsidian Sanctum. And then lastly is one that a lot of people got in the pre-patch, and that is the Black Warbear from For the Horde or For the Alliance. And that is all the pets and mounts of Phase 1. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I'll continue making content on Classic WoW. There'll be a bit of retail coming up, Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy 14, and just MMOs more broadly. So if that's something that you're interested in, please like and subscribe below. I'm almost at 1,000 at the recording of this video, and at 1,000 I will be speed running the Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons expansion as a bit of a celebration, probably sometime late October, early November, depending when we hit the target. But otherwise, no matter what you decide to do, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely excellent rest of your day.